Well, good afternoon, folks. This is Sylvain from Wakefield. I was watching on the news that Prime Minister Carney announced there would be an election April 28th. So shortly after, I went for a walk outside in Wakefield, and to my surprise, the posters were already up on, the telephone poles and, the community bulletin boards in the convenience stores, that kind of thing. Strange observation, I noticed that all political parties had posters except the Conservative Party, at least here in Wakefield. Anyways, I met this couple, originally probably from Eastern Europe. They moved from their home in Toronto, where they had lived most of their lives, they moved to Gatineau. I met them at the natural spring source here in Wakefield, and where they were collecting maybe, 30, 40 liters of water to bring back home. The water at this source is inspected by the city, so it's safe to drink, and it's quite delicious, actually. It's quite the tourist attraction here, apart from the covered bridge and the waterfall. So anyways, they were telling me that they find sad about Wakefield is we have all these forests, all these nature trails, the Trans-Canada Trail and so on, and no parking. Because they're foragers, they forage mostly for mushrooms and wild onions and that kind of thing. And but if there was more parking, more people would come here. Parking is a big issue here. Which brings me to my main point. I'm hosting the first meeting of the BIR-CIR, Business Improvement Region, Community Improvement Region, business and community, two things at the same time, maybe a bit more on the business side, where I'll be inviting business people from La Pêche, Wakefield, Farrelton, Cantley, Chelsea, and Val-des-Monts, and business owners and investors and even councillors from these regions to come. I don't see any reason why we should be competing with each other. I think we need to collaborate with each other. The different regions have businesses that we don't have, and we have sites that they don't have, like we have ecotourism, that kind of thing. We have lots of farms, but they do too. We don't have a travel agency. We don't have a bank here in Wakefield. Many things we don't have. So there's a great public transportation system, the Transcolline bus lines that runs throughout this entire community. I've taken it a few times, and it's very affordable, and interesting enough, it's more comfortable than the buses in Gatineau and Ottawa and even in Montreal. So something to look into. So the first meeting will take place here in Wakefield. If you know anybody who's interested in attending, or if you know people who have like micro projects that they would like to present, have them contact me, and so we will. I will schedule the meeting, and I will share my vision, and people will share their vision of how this region, the economic development of this region, can be accelerated. Now's a good time. Now's the spring. So share this video with your friends, and my contact information as well. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Don't forget to vote.